Welcome back to Vegas Live with Ninon. And of course, you know where I am. And I have a fabulous guest. And of course, I don't know anything he does. I just barely know his name. Yuri, right?
Yep, correct.
And what nationality is that? That's certainly not English.
No, it's a Slavic name.
Slavic.
So it's like Eastern European. So I'm originally from what is present-day Ukraine, but it used to be...
Oh, you're from the Ukraine.
Well, it was the former Soviet Union when I was
Yes.
born there, so it's complicated.
But it's still
politics.
the same. It's still the same country,
It's
just different
the
runners.
same place.
Still the same
yeah.
place, but different people running it and taking care of it.
Basically.
I love this beard because if I had to guess where you, I say, oh, he's Scottish, because you look just like my
I get that a lot.
grandfather. Not as old as him, but I have a young picture of him actually. Then he has this massive red beard.
Yeah, for sure.
So where'd you get the red from?
I don't know. I have a cousin who's not as red as me, but also has red hair. But other than that, it's just...
Didn't you ask your mother?
He
laughed. He laughed.
But I was in Ireland last summer, actually, and it's nice where I don't stand out in a crowd over there.
You're kind of mixed in well.
Yeah.
So when are you moving?
yeah, I don't know. I like it there. Compared to like when I was in Asia, it was the opposite. It was like I would stand out
Asia!
from a mile away.
Everybody would say, "There's the guy." Yeah. You stand out. Now, Yuri, what do you do?
I'm still trying to figure that out. I do
Like
a lot of
Leandro.
different things.
Yeah.
I'm an acrobat. I do a lot of teaching and training. I'm an
acrobatic
author. I
things?
do some random stuff. Yeah.
Really? Is that the kind of stuff they have in circuses and like Circus du Soleil?
More or less, yeah. I've been auditioned for Cirque du Soleil, but I haven't performed in one of their shows. It's hard because I do a lot of traveling and teaching, so it's not...
You prefer the teaching or the performing?
I like both. It's...
Hard to do both, though.
It's hard to do both, especially with teaching because I'm traveling so much. So if I were to sign a contract, not that I've been offered a contract, but if I were to sign one, then I wouldn't be able to do both at the same time. And it's hard for me just kind of in my life as well, because I want to do everything.
You want to do
But I
everything?
can't do
So
everything.
I like this. He wants to
But
do
it's
everything.
a different
so
kind
what
of
are the
energy.
what are the ever things you want to do? What are the other things you want to do?
I don't know.
Yeah, it doesn't
I haven't
matter.
even discovered everything. I like learning new things, and I
I love that. This is a great time to start
Yeah,
doing
for
that,
sure.
isn't it?
It's so easy to get caught up in what you already know and just keep doing
Well,
that.
you're comfortable.
Yeah.
You know, it's so funny because we get comfortable in our own skin. We get comfortable in what we do. We don't really want to make a move.
Yeah, for sure.
And we only live once, and you've got to cram as much as you can into it because we're here to live and enjoy and have it all. So what is a desire that you haven't done that you really think you could do?
I'm getting into recently. I've been studying voice acting and film acting.
Oh, how lovely.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, you'd definitely be a character actor.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you would, wouldn't you? I mean, they'd say, hey, I want Yuri for this part, and I
Yeah.
want him for that part, and I want this for this, and yes. So, do you like it? Are you enjoying it?
I do, and
Yes.
it's more so like the details behind that are interesting.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like it.
Who you
And there's a
studying
challenge.
with?
Ryan R. Williams he's doing like a film acting class.
Yes.
And then I forget the name. It's like the voice actor studio.
Oh, so you're doing like a voiceover.
I'm doing both, and it's interesting the differences of like apparently in film acting you don't want too much fluctuation in the voice because the audio guys fill in the music, and in voice acting it's the opposite. You want to put so much story behind it.
You want to put the energy into the voice to make it prominent.
Exactly, and it's interesting, like a lot of the cues that he gives me in class for the film acting is the opposite. It's to try to speak more monotone, more flat, so whoever is doing the audio can put the music and put the tone in it, rather than you putting in yourself.
So you have to make it easy for the easier for the director and producer, so that it's an art.
Fascinating. It's a lot of detail, and he talks also about minimal movement, which is also like it's
Minimum
something you
movement
don't
when
you're
do
on
the
camera.
voice when you're on camera.
The voice would be the opposite. You want to be close to the mic to get
but you want to be still.
But not necessarily, because when you move, you put energy into the voice. But when you're on
Interesting.
camera, the movement makes you look a little bit crazy.
Yeah, so
So
you've
when
got
you're
to
on
know when
camera,
you're
you want to
moving.
be still, and you want to keep your eyes in the same place.
And talk to your partner or whatever
Exactly.
you're doing, or really
Because especially if it's
play
a
that
close-up,
part.
especially if it's and I'm just a student, right? So I'm talking about this like I know. I
sound
don't know.
You sound like you'd be very good.
Or I try to take mental notes when I can. But on camera, especially if it's like a close-up, then all of that movement is super visible.
Absolutely.
And now when I watch movies and TV, you could see like the people
when they
have
make a
lot of
mistake
training.
and what they do,
Yeah.
it's so funny because sometimes when they cut and they come
Yeah.
back to the scene and that person doesn't look the same as when they left, and they're
absolutely.
supposed to be.
Or even when they're moving too much, like their eyes
Yes.
are shifting a lot, and then sometimes it's not it's something I didn't even notice that much before, and now that I'm looking for it, you can see the
No,
difference.
so are you learning when you see other movies and people? Are you learning from that and saying, well, to do it this way and to do it that? Especially
Always.
with always the good actors.
I think with everything, not even acting, just once you know something, then everything can be a learning experience, and then you can look at anything and say, what can I learn from this? Are they doing good or bad?
Yes,
Should I try to emulate that, or should I try
emulate,
to stay away from it?
Stay away from it and
Yeah.
do my own thing.
And then it's like once you know, then everything is an experience.
Because that's going to make you the character of who you are
Yeah.
if you're going to be yourself when you learn the acting.
And that's an interesting thing too, is not trying to imitate.
Yeah, you want to try to be yourself because you're different. We're all different.
Because we see the actors and we're, I want to do this voice, I want to do this
I want to do it
character.
like that, but you don't want to really copy
But
them.
one of the things he's talking about in class too is like this idea that the people who play the characters were themselves for 10 years
Yes.
before they started breaking out into the character roles.
And so to the character
Yeah.
roles and what they do and how they do it and everything else. Have you ever shaved this off? Are you
Not
always
in about 10 years.
You've
It's
had
been
this
about
for
8 or 9 years.
8 or 9
It was
years?
shorter. It's been long for maybe 5 or 6 years.
Why do you have it? What is the motivation? I've often wondered why men
Yeah.
have beards and
It's a sign of wisdom and virility. I've always, even before I could grow it, I've always thought like beards are cool. And then it's probably a compensation. I look pretty young underneath. And growing up, right? And growing up, I looked young. I was one of the youngest. I was the second youngest in my high school class because with the Soviet Union thing, I was kind of.
Well, you do look young. I mean, you don't have a wrinkle. I mean, I want his skin. He doesn't have a
It's
single
because I
wrinkle.
stay out of the sun.
Well, so do I. I don't stay in the sun. I just got older. That's all I happen to be.
Right. So it's interesting looking back. So I was one of the youngest in my class. I got my driver's license. Not like none of that matters now.
No.
But I always looked younger than everybody. So now it's like
It's cool.
I can look older. It's cool. It's like like the doctor.
Ever thought of taking it off and seeing this?
No, I did it once. I think in 2012, just to see what happened.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, never again.
No, really?
If I get paid enough.
Now, what
If there's a
about
reason.
are you married?
No, single.
Single. So what about women? How does that work? Do you like?
Well, I feel like
'cause
the
I
ones-
think there's women that like beards and women that don't like beards.
Yeah,
a moustache. My father had a moustache.
And the women that are attracted to it are the ones that are going to pursue it, right?
Yes,
So
yes. They're going to pursue you.
Yeah, right. And I'm not gonna shave a beard for a woman. I'll say that much.
Oh,
you
see?
should have to really.
So you're your own man.
Yeah. I might
You
do it
like
like
that?
if I had a film role, if I had a reason, or if somebody just gave me a lot of cash. Like, okay, that's worth it. I'd grow it back.
What's a lot of cash?
Say 10 grand.
10 grand, you take
If
it off.
you give me 10 grand, I'll shave my beard. Grow
So
it
if
back
a
in
woman
couple
came
months.
along and she wanted to see you without a beard, and she paid you 10,000, you say yes and date her?
Yeah, but if I date her, I don't know. That depends. But if she just wanted to see me without a beard and wanted to convince me to do it, I would say no. I need a reason.
Yes, you have to have a
Yeah.
reason, otherwise.
Because this is like a part of my identity. It's a
That's a
part of
part
who
of-
I am.
oh, that's you.
It's like an extra arm, right? It's like the old Bond villain.
I've never
who would
known a
have the
beard
cat.
being called an extra arm, but
So I mean, when
but
I
for
trim
you,
it, for example, if it was here and I reach for it, it's no longer there.
it's so you have to go a little
Yeah.
higher.
Well, then it's like I have to get used to where it is when I trim
Yes,
it.
when you trim it.
Because
Do you
get
trim it
used to being there.
yourself?
I didn't, and over the quarantine, I
You
started.
had to. You had no choice.
Yeah, so now it's a new skill that I've added to my resume.
So now he has.
I wouldn't
something
trim
new.
somebody else's beard. I wouldn't trust myself to trim somebody else's beard.
I love
but my
it.
beard.
We're talking all about beards. When you travel to Europe and travel. What do you travel actually to? What do you do when you travel? What do
Yeah, I
you do?
travel to work, so I teach seminars on
Oh, you teach seminars.
like hand balancing, acrobatic, stuff like that.
And when you
it's-
do that, when you teach it,
Yeah.
do you actually do them?
What do you mean?
The acrobat? Do you actually do
Yeah.
the?
Well, I mean, I'm teaching 6 hours a day, so I'm not doing stuff the whole time.
No.
I'm demonstrating, but it's
But
not.
demonstrate. That's what I
Yeah,
guess that's what I mean.
yeah.
Yes,
But I'm not putting on a show because.
Oh
it's
no
for
no
the
no no! But I
students.
mean, when you're talking about
No,
it,
of
so
course.
you're
It's
teaching
part of
people,
it.
then you'll do one of the acts or one of the things that just
Yeah,
to
for
show
sure.
them how to stand on one hand.
But that's one of the other things like kind of hard to do as a teacher because you're traveling. You're not at your best game, And I don't like having also, like, I'll do what I need to do, but I don't like having that expectation sometimes to do it, because it's not always...
So it's not always in your contract to do that.
I don't have to. I'm there as a teacher.
Yes.
So if I feel good, I'll do more stuff. If somebody needs...
If they want to know what it looks like or how to do it.
But at the same time, if somebody wants to call me out and say, hey, can you do this right now?
You wouldn't do it.
And I don't feel like doing it because I'm not warmed up or whatever, I'll say, no, watch my videos. Like, you do it and I'll coach you through it.
So you've got videos as well. So you can actually be, you sell them on the internet?
I have instructional videos that I sell, and I have a book that I sell as well, and I have a YouTube channel and Instagram and all of that, so I've been on there for
So you've kind of
years.
made this into a complete business.
Yeah, basically.
And how long have you been doing it?
7 years. Yeah,
And
about 7 years
like
now.
It?
I like it.
Yeah.
I like the teaching part of it. The part I don't like is the business part, the sending emails and trying to market and all of that. That's definitely...
I'm trying to get customers and trying to get speaking gigs.
That's not a strong point for me, but I love doing it.
Yes.
Like, if I could only just show up and teach and somebody else did all of the other stuff, that would be amazing.
There are people out there that can do it, but I think you have to be...
And I don't know if I can trust them, because it's...
So you've got to learn to trust. Like us all.
But on the other hand, I've learned to do everything myself, so I've learned more skills instead of delegating them.
So you sound like you're very happy in life. You're very contented, very happy.
I don't know if I'm ever happy, because there's always one more thing. But I find enjoyment in what I do.
I'm always happy. And then I find more things to make me happy.
Yeah.
I'm a happy person, and that's just how I am. So
I know that it could always be better. There's always more. But at the same time, you have to appreciate what's there.
Oh, yes. I think you have to appreciate every single day. And so the virus and everything, has that sort of shut you down a little bit?
Yeah, so I had to cancel... Basically had to cancel all of these travels that I had planned.
In there?
No, just water.
I thought I got a little swig in there. Okay.
So I had a bunch of workshops planned in Europe that I had to cancel.
Yeah.
I had...
Couldn't get there, right?
Everything shut down, and it's like maybe I could have made them work, but then the laws are changing every day with quarantine and all this kind of stuff, with events. So I'm trying to reschedule them for autumn, like maybe October, but that's still up in the air.
So do you have your classes that you can actually see on the internet?
So I started doing online classes.
I was going to say online classes.
And I have a lot of instructional video. Like, I have a lot of online content that I sell as well.
Good.
Could always be more, but I'm too much of a perfectionist, so it's hard. Like, it takes me a long time to make something, because I'll usually make it and then
do you make it yourself?
Yeah, I do everything. I do all the video editing, all of the...
You're kind of telling me that you don't trust people too much. So you thought that you should do it yourself.
I like the reward and the consequence. So it's like, if I do well, I get all the credit, good, because I did a good job. But then if something goes wrong, I don't want it's easy to blame somebody else, but if I do everything myself, I can only blame myself. So then I have to get better from that. I have to learn from the mistake instead of saying, oh no, it was my publicist's fault.
There you go, good.
Yeah.
Well, even if I've got other people doing things, I really like to take the blame myself, because I don't like to blame other people, because I always think that's a bit of a cop-out.
But it's also like, I know that I have very specific standards for everything I do, and I don't know whoever is working for me is going to have those same kind of detailed standards.
Yes.
So that's another
difficulty. That's absolutely what makes you unique, though. That makes you you. That makes who you are. How can anybody reach you? Since we sell online.
Yeah, I have a website, yuri-mar.com. If you search my name, it's pretty unique. I think there's only one Yuri Marmerstein. So if you just search Marmerstein.
Marmerstein.
If you just search Yuri,
I don't even know if I remember that.
You're going to find it. Like, that's one thing, actually, I think that helped me in business is having a fairly unique name.
You've got a very unique name, because people are going to say, I'm going to remember that.
And in Russia, it's a standard name. It's like every other guy's named Yuri.
So don't move to Russia.
Yeah.
No,
but moving out to the West and
You've been to Ukraine?
I haven't been back since I left. I left in 1992, and that was the last time I was there.
So you were a child when you left?
Yeah, I was 5.
Yeah, 5 years old. Yeah, I'm trying to work out the age. 1992 is 5. Well, I find you very unusual. I find you with a lot of energy. I think you're doing absolutely great. What brings you to Vegas, though?
So I grew up in Ohio.
Okay.
And I went to school for physics in Ohio. And I had a job working kind of in the field, more or less. And it was a good taste of the corporate world that kind of left a bitter taste in my mouth. So then after that job was over, I started coaching gymnastics. I made a lot less money, but I didn't
But you enjoyed it?
Yeah. So then from there, I got to a point where being in Ohio, I couldn't continue getting better because I was the best one at what I did. And I wasn't the best one.
Time to move.
But in Ohio,
Time
so
to move on.
my first thought was actually LA to try to do stunts. But it's hard living in LA, and I don't know if I could do it. There's a lot of things. So Vegas was kind of a second choice. It was cheaper than LA. I knew some people, so that I got more into the circus community from there. But I wanted to move somewhere where I could be around people who were better than me at what I wanted to do.
And to make you better. Absolutely.
And that was huge.
Incredible young
Really
man.
important.
He's he likes to do things his own way, but he also likes to improve himself all the time. And I think that's a great thing to be able to do right now, because you've got a lot of time to do that.
Yeah, always.
And Vegas is a great place. Absolutely wonderful.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Congratulations.
Appreciate it.
Absolutely loved it. And something very different. We shall be right back with our next guest. Don't forget to subscribe, Vegas Live with Ninon on YouTube. And don't forget to see all our shows on YouTube. We've got a lot over there. Our subscription went it went way up. So I want to thank everybody out there who's subscribed. But looking forward to the new ones. We'll be right back. If you enjoyed the last show we just did and all the other shows, don't forget to subscribe, Vegas Live with Ninon on YouTube. We've got plenty more coming up, and our guests are amazing. So don't forget to subscribe. We'll be right back. Vegas Live with Ninon.